Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. In this video I'm just going to create a montage, a collection, a library in terms of the sleeper pond construction. So what you're going to see, the first video is going to be the first construction of the sleeper pond from scratch. In the second video you'll see the upgrade, so you'll see me building it much bigger. So basically there'll be a big collection of videos for you guys to watch. Hopefully you find this informative and interesting. Thanks for watching. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I just wanted to create a collection so you don't have to go searching for these videos in the description box or on my channel. So it's all on the video, so you can get to watch it at your leisure. Without further ado, let's go and watch those, and I'll see you in another video. Bye bye. Welcome to my sleeper koi pond build. I'm just doing the first course of sleepers here. We're going to lay it down on a bit of cement. I'm also took 6 flags out, and we dug down about 2 feet. So we've got the 3 levels of sleepers screwed down with corkscrews to make sure that they're pretty solid. I'm going to put the skimmer in on this side here by the garage wall. I'm going to start using a circular saw to cut through the actual sleepers, and then we'll start chiseling out the wood bit by bit just to make sure the koi skimmer box will fit. So that's the shape I've created. I'm just going to put the skimmer box in there, make sure it fits correctly, and it does, and it's nicely seated as you can see here. So I've dug down a bit deep here and realised that we need to put a bit of drainage, a bit of gravel in there, and then put in sand and some soil back down. And I will expand the dugout area later on. I'm putting the tank connectors in there, also foaming them in, making sure they're secure, ready for the returns. Obviously we've got 2 at the back, 1 for overflow, and obviously one for the actual pump. Here we're putting the skimmer box in. Put a little bit of wood underneath it just to raise it a little bit, and we'll start foaming that in. Obviously we'll have at least 2 returns at the bottom as well. So I'm just foaming it in so we can seat the skimmer box in there correctly, so it's nicely seated. It does pop out a little bit, but we'll sort that out later on. And we're putting the foam in, make sure it goes off, and making sure it's level here as well. So I'm putting for some XPS foam boards around the pond just to give it some extra insulation for the winter. And there you go, I've foamed in around the tank connectors as well to make sure it fits nicely. And obviously we may do a bit more digging later on as well. As you can see, the skimmer box looks nicely seated and well made. I've expanded, as I said earlier, the dugout area just to make it a bit bigger. We're using some underlay and some offcuts of liner just to protect the liner when I put it in, so there's no sharp things. Obviously over winter we got all this rain and lots of leaves and debris got in there to clean it out. Take the liner out, clean it, sort out the underlay here, and then put the liner back in there. And obviously that's more or less the set process I was doing here. I'm just trying to shape the liner out. I've made a frame here for a cupboard where the UV filter will actually go in, and some of the piping, and that'll go on the back, as well as hold the electrics. That's to protect the electrics obviously. I'm putting the posts up now, you know, using corkscrews to screw them in directly into the sleeper, not in the ground. So essentially that's more or less what I'm doing here. This is the back left side near the garage, doing the same there. I'm putting up a pergola here as well, and obviously we're using bolts at the corners, and the braces will be using some corkscrews to screw them into place on all the corners. So here's a brace. Cut it at a 45-degree angle, and obviously put them in and screw them in tightly. I'm just showing you the long bolt there that goes through the actual post, and we're just tightening those bolts. They're about 60mm long, and obviously you can see me with pliers, spanner there, and tighten it. Obviously I realised that I need to adjust the height of the roof as well. I'm putting some brackets in there, and I'll put another beam across there, and I'll screw in there with some corkscrews just to secure the extra elevation. I've had to increase it so water will flow down. We need at least 5 degrees. Putting a polycarbonate sheet on the top there, and we're just going to secure that with those buttons that you get. Unfortunately, I would recommend you probably use different screws because they are a bit brittle. So that's one of the buttons put in there properly. I'll show you a picture here where there's various ones I put on, and it's looking nice and pretty, and it's secure, and you know, it fits nicely. Also, I put a gut ring along the side there, a gut ring on the other side as well, just to get the water away. I also decided to put more gut ring along the garage, so all the water will flow towards a drain that I've inputted here at the bottom. So obviously you can see how the water would run off both roofs into a drain. Here I've been putting some flashing on as well. As you can see, a bit of silicone's put the flashing together. That's just allow the water to flow off without going on the wood. A mini flashing here by the gut ring near the far wall next to the garage. And obviously here I'm just attaching the liner to the actual sleepers. Now we will be obviously using a primer here to prime the folds, so glue them together so the folds, nothing should get behind the folds hopefully. And obviously I'm just siliconing in the tank connectors here, you know, with a lot of silicone to make sure there's a good seal. And obviously we've got 4 of those down at the bottom area here, 3 there and 1 slightly further down. And obviously this is the return. Sorry, this is the overflow, and that one is where the pump will end up going in towards the you know, the cupboard. So obviously it's hopefully well sealed in most places. So to the left is the overflow and the right is where the pump goes. So I'm going to start cutting the liner here, and instead of doing the traditional way with using a gasket in between the liner, I decided to just silicone it all the way around, give it a solid silicone bond, because those gaskets can fail. And I just obviously decided to screw it in as well. Obviously you can see the screws in now, and it looks well seated, and I'm just sealing it around the perimeter to make sure we have a solid, tight, good seal. And it's looking quite nice. As you can see, you can put a bit of silicone on the inside as well to seal that in there. Here I was going to put originally the pump on the inside of the pond, but with various people giving me some advice and comments, I decided to change that just slightly. As you can see here, just put a solid piece of pipe across, and there's a better view there. And obviously this is the piping on the other side near the garage. Obviously we've got 2 returns, and obviously we'll connect our pumps to those as well. Decided to put a valve in between there so I can vary the flow, and that's the pump there that goes from the rector bottom drain. Obviously you can see there that that's another outlet that goes to the actual skimmer box, and I've used a combination of solid pipe and PVC flexible pipe. So the PVC pipe actually goes around the corner where the actual post is, and I've also done a diagram so you can see exactly what happens there. So there you can see the diagram. Freeze the video if you want to see that more or less. And obviously the water goes to the UV filter and out. Here's my capping that will go on top of obviously the sleepers and the liner. I've also done a cutout here for the skimmer box so it fits flush, and obviously it fits nicely. I had to do a bit of sanding to get that to fit properly, but it looks nice. So essentially that's more or less the pond complete. Hope you like this video, and yeah, it's a fantastic build, I think. So this is how the pond looked before I started dismantling it. So I've cut some of the lawn, and we're going to put some flags over to the left and put some concrete in its place. So I'm just dismantling the pond here, taking the pieces off. Quite difficult with the beams being in the way, and that's more or less what I'm doing. This is how it looks before I start dismantling it. You can see that it's quite narrow in the middle, and we're going to make that a bit bigger. So I've taken the underlay, and we're taking the bits of liner out as well as the main liner out, and here I'm going to basically put the new skimmer in as well. So as you can see, I moved one of the tank connectors a bit over to the left, just so I've got a bit more room for the skimmer connection, and I've dug it out a bit more. But after thinking about it, maybe I thought a good idea to dig it out a bit more, and that's what it looks like. That's the soil, what it looked like when I dug it all out, quite a lot. And here are the sleepers. They're about 80 centimeters long. And here I'm just putting a bit of concrete down, cement, sorry, and then putting the sleepers on top of it, just to level it out, and putting the cut screws in. And then obviously we're going to have to ratchet it in to make it even stronger. A ratchet is a good idea. So essentially that's what it looks like at the moment. New cottony coil skimmer in there using some expanding foam, and we got some more brackets put on place to hold it all together. And I'm putting some corner pieces in here, just so the water moves around easier and the liner doesn't get pinched in the corners. So this is one side, and then obviously you saw the other side, and that's what it looks like in terms of what it looks like. So I'm putting some more corner pieces in, just so I don't pinch the liner too much in the corners, and essentially it's coming together. It looks quite nice. So I've put some XPS board around as well, and obviously I'm putting the underlay here, basically secured with gaffer tape. And we've got our tank connectors put in as well, so we've got two returns, one overflow to the left, and obviously the pump to the right. Here I'm just putting the liner in. It's quite a big job this, so you just need to do it a piece at a time unless you've got someone to help you, and I'm just moving it bit by bit into position. So it's a long process, but eventually you get the idea. We've got it secured in there using Firestone liner. So I'm just in the process of putting the water in here, just to make sure there's it pulls in, and we're trying to get all the creases out, moved out to the left and right of it. And here I'm just trying to secure the liner in the corners. It's a nightmare of a job. Just take your time, and I'm using some felt nails just to attach it into place. Some people have commented saying that maybe you should put all the water in, but you don't always have to do that. Just as long as you've got a little bit of water in there and a little bit of slack, you should be fine. So I'm just going around the corners, making sure it's all secure. We're putting the tank connectors in now through the liner. Simple process of putting silicone on both sides and screwing it in together. To the left there you can see the actual connection for the pump. That's the pump connection there. We're going to attach a retro bottom drain to that. So I'm just showing you the low profile attachment you can get. So we can put in some flexible pipe and also a flow switch in there as well, so it won't, if the water drains out somehow, it won't kill the fish basically. So that's the retro bottom drain installed, Eco Filtration, sell that, and obviously I've put the skimmer in. So we'll put the silicone in around the skimmer, make it secure, and sometimes you need to put a bit of extra silicone on as well. Just make sure everything's nice and tight, and then put a bit of water in there just to make sure it's all half decent and there's no stretching going off. So I've got a bib liner here that I'm attaching to the shelf area that we've got, because the plan is to put some water lilies in there with lots of rockery. So I'm just in the process of putting that in place. Also to the right you can see that we've got a fish cave with plastic barrel basically with a hole cut in it, and obviously you can see me attaching the pipework now. So you can see we've got the pump connected up. This is all the electrics as well for two pumps. So I'm just doing the return that goes out on the outside of the pump. You can see that it's installed with a ball valve, and we've got an eco pump fitted up into the actual skimmer. So you can just see me connecting it up, making sure it's all nice and dry using rubber boots. And this is the surge filter I've installed, quite a nice system. And we're going to put some clear pipe in, so you can see the clear pipe connected, and it looks half decent with the clear pipe. That's how it looks with the UV on the surge, been on. You can see it like lit up, and I'm going to put another filter on there. That's the ball filter we're installing, connected to that extra piece of pipe, that flexible pipe that you saw. Here we're putting our box filter in with pond armor, pond shield lining in it. Looks quite nice. So we've got two filters running. Looks quite decent, and as you can appreciate, it's coming along, and the pond looks really nice. Obviously that's how it looks from the back. I put a bit of screen up just to screen it off a little bit, make it a little bit more prettier, and hide the pump if possible. And that's how it looks from a distance, and that's it really.